Friends, if you're looking for real old school laughs, you're in for a treat because we've got them right here. Flip City Magazine. Remember Mad Magazine? Then it went woke? Well, don't worry. Flip City has no chance of going woke. That's right. 4 times a year, you'll get an actual printed magazine full of jokes, stories, comics, and more, all about today's pop culture, entertainment, and woke politics. Flip City takes terrible entertainment trends we love to hate with hilarious parodies of Lord of the Rings, Stranger Things, The Walking Dead, Star Trek, Hunters, and more. Trust me when I say there is nothing else like Flip City on the market. So subscribe today. It will be delivered in print, or you can even get it digitally if you're one of those wacky Zoomers. Either way, follow our link and sign up today, and if you put in midnight, you get an extra 10% off. Check out Flip City Magazine today. Greetings, everybody, and welcome to Midnight's Edge After Dark. It is after dark in some places of the world, I'm sure. Some places it's still afternoon. It may even be morning if you're listening in way over on the other side of the world. But hey, there's people listening all over 200 of you so far. Hit that like button, share out the link, let everybody know we're live. We have a panel of 5, but we also have 6 here. How you doing, 6?
I was expecting like 20 minutes of parody songs. So I can eat my soup.
That's only on Sundays.
So no, is it really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm doing fine.
So I don't think I've ever really.
Sounds like maybe going to be 6 on Sunday.
The days all blur together.
That's likely. Also joining us, we have Clobbering Times. I guess that's all 6 had to say.
Hey, man, good to be back, man. Hello, my friends on the panel and great friends in the chat. Good to see you all tonight. Good to
Glad to have you here. We also have Scribe Light with us. How you doing?
Doing all right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Thursday. It's Thursday. It's the penultimate day of the work week.
It's Thursday.
That too, I suppose, if you're a Norse follower.
That is true. Or just a Marvel fan, I guess.
Also
joining us is the one and only Canadian script doctor.
Hello.
The only Canadian?
The only one.
I am. Well, I feel like I'm an only Canadian.
It's not a real country anyway.
I don't know what.
Yeah. I was like, are you like the Highlander? You killed all the rest of them? You're the last one.
North Minnesota.
It's North Dakota.
That too. Whatever. I mean, they really you guys need to really get your own identity. Maple syrup and poutine just ain't enough.
And
hockey, I mean,
hockey is ours.
So do we.
Well, but we made it.
Shared
it with you.
Curling is the best sport.
Curling is awesome. Actually,
curling's great. Watching like women yip their way down an ice path with little brooms is just the most hilarious thing ever.
It really is.
Wow.
But no, I've always been amazed. In all seriousness, with curling, I love watching it because I can't even imagine, because most of the times you're watching it from an overhead shot on a camera or something, but these guys are having to look down that path of ice and line up these rocks, sliding them into exact positions. It just boggles my mind the amount of skill and concentration it must take to do that professionally and well. It's nuts.
Yeah, you don't have the advantage of a top-down view. Mm-hmm. There is a monitor to the side, but you don't look at it until towards the end.
Exactly. Yeah, it's crazy. I love it. I find it so fascinating and almost soothing and hypnotic in a way.
There you go. We also have some super chats already. We've got Southern Belle, who's sending 6 some flowers. Well, thanks for that, Southern Belle. You may see her later. later on tonight on the Comics Division show. She shows up there sometimes. And Six said thank you. Sorry for talking over you. We also have Troy Pacelli, who's been a member for 13 months, and Olaf, who's been a member for 25 months. It's like midnight where you at, ain't it, Olaf? Yeah, it's like pretty late. Then we got 16-bit mascot who says, "Hey there, Tom, Six, Clob, Script, and Scribe. Cheers."
Hey,
Cheers.
And I see Snowdub in the chat. How you doing? And we got Ruben Christopher Haynes in the chat. So many regulars showing up. I see Keely Chow, Mighty Orbots, Ben Dowdy's here. Action Com's in the house. We've got Toxic Waltz and Nate. D-Bud's in the house with a wrench. Watch out. Duck Nation is here. We've got Al Bundy in the house. We don't know where Peg is, but Al is here. We got so many more. Thank you for being here. Hit that like button. I see Josh Hammond. I thought I saw Hamdinger in here earlier as well. As Tiger Valley, and a lot of other Goddess of Women's here tonight as well. So welcome everybody to the program. Yeah, we don't have a ton of news. We have a couple things to discuss, I guess. First and foremost, I guess we can break right into the James Gunn news, because this actually happened, I think, yesterday.
Oh yeah, this is silly. Yeah,
Just to add more confusion to the fucking fire.
I know, right?
James Gunn confirms 3 stars who will continue in their roles in the new DC universe. The same ones we've all assumed so. And we've all said pretty much along the same lines of it's a big mistake if he does continue these characters, regardless if they're the same characters or not. Right?
Yeah, like he's got to really swing for the fences and showing how different it is in order for people to not get confused. And I don't think many people could do it.
Look, I get it. You want to keep your wife employed. Then hire her as a different fucking character.
Yeah.
Wait, has his wife been confirmed as the same character? Because
she is one of them. I think that's been Viola
Waller.
Davis
I
is.
know it's Waller, John
she's in
Cena,
that
and
show.
Zolo. And Zolo's a good thing to hold on to, I would say.
Yeah.
But again, all these people you could recast as somebody else.
Yep.
And we all know it's the Viola Davis thing is all it's leading towards because he doesn't want to recast his wife. Let's be fucking real. That's what it's all boiled down to. And he doesn't want to let go of Peacemaker. Let it go, Jim. It's fucking dead. You're attached to a dead fucking franchise, and all you're doing is dragging in baggage from a dead fucking franchise. And honestly, at this point, I can't blame anybody who's calling you out for your bullshit. I backed you up for the longest time. I said, yes, it was the best way to go is to revamp this whole fucking thing. And I knew you had to play politics ball until Superman Legacy came out. But you've been sticking by this bullshit now for the last year. And we all know it's because you want to fucking nepotize your fucking, if that's a word, your wife into this whole fucking mix. Get over it. Cast her as somebody else.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that she would be better as a Cat Grant, and that's a better role than the one that she currently has. However, I suspect that the reason, at least John Cena and Amanda Waller are still attached, is I think he actually started filming before the strikes hit of Peacemaker 2 and Amanda Waller, at least in some capacity of footage with them. And then he's paused because I do know for a fact he has finished writing season 2 of Peacemaker almost before Peacemaker season 1 debuted. And the Amanda Waller one was one of the secret projects that he had in production that we didn't hear much about. And I think this is, I think this is going to further add to the confusion 100%. And I also think it's probably going to be a bad move when it comes to basically showcasing that this is a new DC.
Were those 2 projects already in motion before he took over as head of the studio? Or
Yes,
head of
technically,
okay.
yes.
Okay.
See, and that's where
Creature Commandos, as well.
And that's
Right,
where a
okay.
lot of us were kind of giving him a little leeway. We're like, yeah, we know you got to play politics ball with this stuff. A lot of this stuff was in, happening before. We also had Brian joining us. Sorry you're waiting. Zach, go on.
Hey.
It's okay, mate. Good evening.
Yeah, and it's like at this point, why are you doing this to yourself?
Does he have a choice? Was he already contracted to make these shows? And he
Those
was
shows
cast
were
to,
under
like,
contract already before he even got into his position.
okay.
And I suspect that money and possibly pre-sales have already been involved, which is why they're still there. Because
Okay.
I don't know about that because they're all HBO Max shows.
they are, but when Zaslav got in, one of the things we've been learning is that some of the Max shows that are not necessarily are going to be Max originals, but they're also going to be having external licenses in other streaming services. And I think that might be the case. I think they may have basically said after it's debuted on Max for so many weeks, or months, it's going to be licensed out to other platforms. And I think those deals were done probably while production was actually underway. So again, like, this is a really confusing period right now over at Warner Brothers when it comes to DC and what they're going to be doing with streaming. So yeah, like this is not helping. This is definitely not helping James or the new DC universe.
Yeah, let's assume so. Waller and Peacemaker 2 were sort of locked in cement before he had a chance to change anything, so he's going to have to go through with those. Why keep Blue Beetle?
Probably to keep Zolo.
Why?
The town knows that he is probably going to be a rising star. Again, he is the breakout role of Cobra Kai. When he's on the press junket, he's charming and people like him. He seems to be pretty authentic. And he was a good fit for the character. The script in the movie itself was just trash. So keeping him is not a bad idea, but I mean, it's going to be a difficult hill to climb over to make people kind of forget Blue Beetle. In favor of the new Blue Beetle.
If they ever remembered it in the first place.
Exactly.
Well, I admittedly have not seen it, but I have watched several reviews from other people. Did the Blue Beetle movie fix itself in the established DCEU in any meaningful way, or was it kind of just hanging out on its own?
It's kind of hanging out on its own. It has no anchors. Yeah.
That might be the path of least resistance to keeping him then, because he's not like, you didn't have Henry Cavill show up playing as Superman or something.
No, it has nothing of that nature. It does have references to Superman and Batman.
Right.
And that's about as far as it really goes. So yeah, listen, it's an ambiguous film, so it can be fudged, but I think for the general audiences, they assume it's still part of the previous one, and I think they're correct in making that assumption.
Yep. No. Someone asked in the audience, pretty good question. Who cares about Amanda Waller? Answer only James Gunn, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean, the writing is by the Watchmen writer.
Hey, Tom. What's up, Quabby? Script 70s, Scribe, Quabby, and 6. Hello.
Hey, Nick.
Good to see you all. All right. Looks like I came in at a good time here because this is right up my alley. And hello, chat, by the way. I see you all. Wrenches, good to see you all. But, dude, the fact that it came down to Waller and what's his face?
Peacemaker?
John Cena, Peacemaker. Really? I mean, I get it. I know John Cena has a successful show, but really, come on. Amanda Waller wasn't that good. And I've not seen Blue Beetle, so I don't know if Sholo was good or bad. I wouldn't be surprised if he was not a problem with the movie at all. So I can understand him at best.
He's not even one of the people that was mentioned.
Oh, I thought he was mentioned.
Zolo was mentioned.
Was he? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
so he was
read
mentioned.
the article, right?
No, I just saw his tweet.
I like that idea in the sense that I've always been a fan of that casting because obviously, Miguel Cobra Kai, I get it. And and considering obviously we've heard mixed opinions on the movie, but it seems like not one person said he himself was bad in the movie, whether they liked the movie or not. People didn't seem to mind him. So maybe, hopefully he'll have better stuff to work off of and, he can finally excel the way I hope that he can, really. I am genuinely happy for him, but the other two make no damn sense. It's just, I gotta keep James Gunn people employed. And I get it,
he could have done both of these before Superman. That's what doesn't make any fucking sense to me.
Yeah, that too.
It's not like they're that complicated of shows to shoot.
No,
the shows are coming up before Superman Legacy.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Creature Commandos is next.
He said he's not shooting Peacemaker until after Superman. Remember?
Oh, that's what he's saying now. Jesus,
that's what he said before.
Because
they said, so is Peacemaker dead? And he said, oh no, we just weren't going to get to it till after Superman. I don't remember which interview.
I thought he said he wanted to get to it after Waller.
That was that one he was in, that interview he was on, remember?
Oh no, I listened to that. He said he's doing that after Waller.
That's a while away. Jeez, for a Peacemaker season? I mean, you guys tell me, was the show that good that warrants that long?
I don't know. I never fucking watched it.
I
The
watched
show
it.
is
James
pretty
Gunn
good.
revealed that work on Peacemaker season 2 will begin as soon as he's wrapped up DC's opener, Superman Legacy. Speaking to the Inside of You podcast. Yeah, that's what I said. I
really?
remember him specifically saying that. That's what I was saying. What the fuck? Why not do it first? Get it out of the goddamned way.
I got an idea why, because so Peacemaker season 1 is actually pretty good. I found it pretty entertaining. But if he's going to wait until after Superman Legacy, that means he can do a more firm reboot into the new universe without like doing a direct follow up to season 1. He can kind of do a soft kind of sequel like Suicide Squad, sort of.
That's still probably going to jumble the audience's heads, though. That's the problem.
It's ridiculous.
Well, sure, it's always going to be. I don't know how.
And
what
this
else
is
you can
why,
do about it.
and this is why I say this, Scribe, because every time I get a question of like, well, why didn't they just use Flash to reset this and do all the blah 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 blah? And I said because at the end of the day, the typical audience doesn't understand like rebooting with the same characters.
No, they don't.
And actors. They don't. Is they see a character, an actor within a certain amount of years, they think it's the same fucking storyline. That's why they sit there and go, well, where's this person? Or why isn't this person here? Or why are they doing that? Because they don't understand, they don't follow the shit that we do. Right.
Sure.
That's why, and this is where the Snyder fans really don't get it when I say we're still technically in the Snyderverse as far as the general audience is concerned. Right. Yep. And they're like, well, all these last few movies have failed. It's like, well, why do you think they failed? Because people are sick of this. They don't care about these characters. They proved that with the Batman, right? They went to see something that they knew had nothing to do with this universe compared to what they've seen other things, right? And that's what I tried telling all the Snyder fans. I'm like, if you want the Snyder characters to stick around, then don't go see the Batman and make sure you go see Black Adam and everything that's coming out from here on out, because otherwise they're not going to. And that's kind of what happened, because up until James Gunn was taking over, everything I was talking about and reporting came out to be true, and that Mike DeLuca and those guys were going to try and retool what they had. They were going to try and reestablish the universe with Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman as the main trio. But when James Gunn came on board, his Superman became the de facto DCU Superman. What was supposed to be an Elseworlds movie like the Batman was, then became the movie that was supposed to kick off this universe.
No, I don't disagree with anything you're saying, Tom.
Well, it's not about disagreeing. That's the facts.
That's the
we know that.
Yeah.
These other projects were in the green. I get that. But at this point, it's like, why not get them out of the fucking way first?
Yeah. Push them out quickly. Get them out. Get it done. Draw your line.
Superman back a fucking year. Who cares?
Yeah.
At this point, it's going to get pushed back anyway. We all know it.
Superman is the type of thing that can afford, not in a financial sense, but more of a timeliness that it can afford to be pushed back. Whereas stuff like Peacemaker, obviously doesn't have anywhere the historical, I guess you could say cultural relevance or impact, either or, that Peacemaker has. And when you want to have a show like Peacemaker, which seems to have done pretty well, from what I've seen of the numbers, wouldn't you want to get a season out of that quicker rather than what? Because by the time if Peacemaker season 2 comes out after Legacy, you're talking a 5-year gap between the season 1 and season 2. I mean, I'm gonna guess. I mean, I've not seen every TV show in the world. I haven't, because no one has, to be fair. But most times when you have a successful season 1 and there's a green light to get a season 2 going, there's maybe 1 to 2 years in the streaming world. I mean, every now and then there's been an exception of 3, but 5 years for a show that did fairly well. It wasn't like Game of Thrones.
Strange Worlds or whatever fuck it's called, the Stranger Things. Yeah, that one. That's one of the first times I remember show taking that big of a gap between seasons like that.
And that show,
unless there's a strike or some absolute reason why, I've never seen it to where it's more than a 6 month to a year total gap between these shows.
A gap without a strike, I think.
Right? Which one?
Sopranos?
They may have. But that's also like an exception. I'll give the exception to like when HBO is doing shows, that's basically like what streaming does now. But that's the thing. It's like a prestige series then. Yeah.
If they kept okay, so I'm just trying to game this out for the sake. Let's see. So if they have to have Peacemaker come out after Superman, if they kept the Peacemaker season 2 story self-contained and then just didn't go forward with it after that. Like if he's obligated to have to do these two series, Waller and Peacemaker, as they were agreed upon before he took over and before the whole opportunity of reboot happened, if he has to do them, the least damage to be done is if he keeps the stories within their own little bubble and it doesn't really affect anything else. And they're still produced and they're still part of the DC thing, but they're not like part of
You know
the
what I think it
continuity.
is? I think Peacemaker leads into Amanda Waller series, which leads into Gods and the other series, Creature
Gods
Commandos.
Creature Command.
Commandos.
Oh, okay.
That's my hunch. And I don't think any of them have anything to do with Superman Legacy, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think they're very isolated.
I think that's the only reason all three of them are still happening is because they all tie into each other, I bet.
But Gunn has said that Creature Commandos is the beginning of the
I know, which he's going to say that until it isn't anymore. That's
Are they going to try to maintain something like what Disney didn't do? Like instead of Disney, where they tried to combine and intertwine Disney Plus series with mainline cinematic releases, are they going to have an HBO Max DC universe running parallel but not really connected to the cinematic one?
Maybe.
Again, if they do, that's going to confuse things because
I think
right
so.
now,
I don't know.
these contracts that were signed with the Superman and Lois Lane actors stipulate that they are the roles, not just in live action, but in animation and video games. So they're across. It's going to be the same voice across all distribution of the character.
Interesting.
This is
You mean
something
the
that
new
hasn't
actors
been
he
done.
just hired?
Yeah.
Which
This hasn't
most
been done in any
people-
type of capacity before at this level because usually it's like you get the role first and it's like, oh, we're going to franchise out to a video game. Then we'll negotiate with the actor whether we want them or will we just get a sound alike. In this case here, it's like no sound alikes. We're getting that actor.
And in most people's minds, that would tie those properties together, whether they're tied together by story or not.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then here he says, just to clear up the rest of the quote, it says, and yes, some actors will be playing characters they've played in other stories, and some plot points might be consistent with plot points from the dozens of films, shows, and animated projects that have come from the DC in the past, but nothing is canon until CC and Legacy.
So this is like the Ang Lee's Hulk and Incredible Hulk connection.
So at least we now know that Aquaman is officially dead on arrival, and he's not going to shill for it. So unlike the other three movies,
he's going to shill
for. You think
he's going to shill?
He has to.
Yeah, he'll shill for it.
He'll totally shill. And that's the thing is, it's ruining his image. And this is what I've said. This was their biggest mistake ever, and I get it why they did it, and I still don't think it was a good idea or good reason enough to do it because it didn't make a difference. The Snyder Bros are still doing their fucking thing. Fire James Gunn is still trending, right? So I mean, they're still out there doing, and nothing has fucking changed. You just made another faction out of everybody. Is all you did.
Chaos still reigns.
Well, because now you've got this other faction that didn't really give a shit about the Snyderverse, but now they're just confused at what James is doing.
Yep. Oh yeah, this
There's
is
even
not
people inside
starting out
Warner Brothers saying that shit right now. That's what I've been
this
hearing.
is not as clean as they would like it to be. They thought they were going to clean it up, and it's. I agree. I think the announcement that they did had a double-edged sword, which is that they were trying to shut down the Snyder Bros from doing what they're doing, but at the same time they've hampered their ability to competently express that they actually have a plan going forward that has potential. Now it's like, well, we got these hangups. There's these hangups now being carried over, and it's not in the same sense as like the rumor of Jason Momoa being Lobo, which is a perfectly fine type of hangup you have. You're just like, okay, you got an actor that literally lives and fits the part of the character that they're going to be portraying. Now it's like, okay, well, we got John Cena as Peacemaker, and it's very logical to assume that he is going to be the very same Peacemaker we saw in the Suicide Squad and the Peacemaker show. Then we have Viola Davis, who I think is a pretty good actress, but she is way too thin and fit for Amanda Waller. And she's been brought in since the David Ayer days, and she's playing this character. And they're really doing it kind of out of habit as opposed to the fact that, well, there's probably other actors that could do these roles. In fact, as much as I hate the show, the new revival of Night Court, the actress there that plays Gertie looks exactly like Amanda Waller, but just with bleached blonde hair.
Yeah.
Remember they want Angela Bassett played her once in the stupid Green Lantern movie, so they seem to want to change her.
They had Angela Bassett. They also had a really gorgeous looking actress on the Arrow series playing her, like a thin supermodel-esque woman. But the other part too is I would say that actress on from Night Court who plays Gertie, she's short. She's actually sells herself quite well. I think she has the chops to do something dramatic in the sense of Amanda Waller. But instead of getting a brand new cast, which I would far more prefer, we're getting hangups that are going to be in similar roles. Now, the only one I actually really agree with is Zolo, because he's a good actor. He has the charm needed. And unfortunately, because of bad politics at Warner Brothers at the time the movie was greenlit, they did not get the right people to make that movie the best it could be.
Yeah. And Rogue Thinker here is the new faction that I'm talking about, which is probably larger than the Snyder Bros, and they don't want to admit it. And that was the people that were fine if they just rebooted it with Henry Cavill and stuff, but rebooting it and keeping a few actors and not the rest makes no sense to most people, and it's not going to make most sense to most people. And I can't defend Gunn on that fucking idea, because as the script said, it makes absolutely no sense not to make a clean break.
Yeah, this
All
is
the way or
a
not
go.
all.
Go all in.
All.
Because now, and this is even worse for the normies, because the normies always say, "Where's this actor?" when they see, a few other familiar actors. It only makes everything.
Yeah, where's
such
Gal
a
Gadot?
confusing
Where's
mess.
Henry Cavill?
And
Where's
I
Ben
don't
Affleck?
blame them, and that's that point where I have to, be in defense of the normies.
Where's
Because
Jared Leto?
if I was
Where's-
someone who only paid face value attention, I can't blame them for being confused.
Well,
I
and there's
thought it
more
would be
actors
too
than
if I
this.
didn't pay attention the way we all on this panel did. We're all built a little differently. So we look past the surface, like, oh, we know why it's happened. We have the context as all. Most people don't, and that's fine. They're not expected nor required to. But this is how you put off normies. This is how you put off the general fan interest.
Aside from the three that he mentioned here, I can guarantee you anybody who's attached to those project is coming back. Meaning any of his Suicide Squad is coming back that returns.
Which will mean all of them.
Yep. And then you'll have, I can guarantee you that, who was I thinking of just a second ago? Anyway.
Well, his Guardians people are all going to come back in different roles and things. Which is
That's possible,
Mm.
but no. What I'm saying is like, you're going to have a few of the other people that are going to come back, because I've been hearing rumors about Margot Robbie. That was what I was trying to think of.
Oh, she'll be back.
Yeah, I've been hearing she's coming back, or supposed to be supposedly signed on, or in talks to sign on for a few more appearances as Harley Quinn. In fact, she's supposed to get another solo film. Is the other rumor going around?
Why? Jesus.
Why?
Because people like her in that role,
Barbie
I guess.
did well, so
Even
they're
though
going to
she's
try
kind of
to
unrecognizable.
And then Barbie, Barbie right
Barbie
now
is the
is
reason.
probably another
Let's be
big
real.
reason.
You know it's Barbie. Think about it. Now that she had the $1 billion, they automatically assume because Barbie had $1 billion flick that's going to automatically translate. That's typical Hollywood thinking.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I can't argue with that. That's probably everything that has to do with it.
This is the thing. They think that she's going to be a name draw, even though she has never been a name draw before.
Well, I mean, if they turn around and they make Harley a bit more bubblier and light, and not the Suicide Squad version of her that we've gotten so far, they have a shot.
Yep.
Yeah. If they did Batman the Animated Series early years Harley, then they'd probably knock it out of the park, but they're not going to, because she's too subservient and she's too ditzy and on and on and on.
Yeah, she's supposed to be a nutball, more of a nutball than a sex icon. That's the problem. And unfortunately, Warner Brothers and DC in the later part of the 90s and early 2000s turned her into more of a sex icon than a bubbly psychopath.
Well, women did it themselves, kind of turned her into a sex pot by dressing other up as her sexy version and stuff like that. And then you also have the other faction, and the same part of they're overlapping, that try to glamorize the romance between Joker and her, which is not something that should be glamorized, because it's a very abusive relationship.
Yes.
That's the joke.
Right. I mean, but like, I've seen it so many times where girls are like, I want a romance like Joker and Harley. It's like, no, you don't.
That
Jesus,
is
are you
why
insane?
normies are normies, because they see, oh, look at this romantic imagery of people who are dark and gothic looking together. I want to be like that. And oh, they must be
And
evil
he'll
and
kill
dangerous,
for her. It's
but
like,
they
yeah, but
love
he
each
also
other.
kills her half the time if it's
Yeah, but she also
just
doesn't.
happens to survive.
This
She
is why
never-
the normies
never
need
works.
us. We fill
She
them
never
in on
works
the
as
jokes.
she never
Sorry.
works as a single one-off individual. If you look in the animated series with the original character, she always worked best and almost always worked at all paired up with somebody, whether it was the Joker or Batman or Poison Ivy. She's not. She can't. She doesn't carry things by herself. She's a sidekick slash comic relief. She's not a lead.
Gracie to George and Gracie.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well,
and she,
it's
yeah,
the
they keep
doomed
trying to make her a
romance.
lead.
Women see it as, oh, it's the man I can change. It's like, no, you're not. He's changing you. That's the whole point. Like, you don't see it. But anyway, Clobby and Six have been pretty quiet about this whole thing. How do you guys feel about James Gunn? Let's start with you, Six. Good talk. Maybe she stepped away and I didn't see it.
Bueller.
Clobby, then go ahead. Maybe she'll be back in a moment.
No, well, no, not pretty much what I want to say here. It's kind of silly. You really just you're making a big mess. Why not just make the clean sweep, like we were saying that a little bit earlier, rather than bringing all these leftovers? I don't know if you want to call them. It's just muddying up the waters.
Yeah,
muddies up the waters a little bit. Personally, I mean, I don't care too much because, I mean, I'm willing to give him a shot on Superman. I don't have a lot of faith in this guy, but Peacemaker. The show was kind of okay. Actually, every time I watch an episode, I had to go take like 3 showers. It was fun, but it was really it's kind of a disturbing show. It really doesn't have any place near his new universe. That's the problem. It doesn't. What that show was does not belong in this. He's trying to really start a whole new DC universe. It really does not fit at all. And Amanda Waller is a constant in the DC universe. I've never been a big fan of the character, but why she would have her own series? It's ridiculous. You can do so much more than that character to have their own series and stuff like that. So,
it's more of a bigger crime when there are characters who have had more of a impact in the greater DCU, who have sold more comic books because she never really had a series, but who have sold comic books, have legacy to their names, and she's getting a show. There's
That's
characters
true,
who've
Nick,
been on
but
the
you know
market
what?
for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 decades, and freaking Amanda Waller gets a show.
Right.
We have had, I know, and Clubby, I know you're not a Nightwing fan, but at least I hope you can at least see my point where I'm coming from. Nightwing, at least we could say he has a fan base. He has had, I thought you did it.
That's a convoluted story about how I wish that Dick Grayson had not become Nightwing early on.
All right, I apologize.
He's kind of like
I apologize.
These characters don't really need to grow
That's
up.
right.
I apologize. I misunderstood
cool.
you, but I think you and I could both agree on one thing, and that is that Dick Grayson has a fan base. He has had runs that people, as do I.
I love the character.
And he's had successful runs. A lot of fans love him. He's one of those like people, comic book shirts. A lot of comic book fans love to wear his logo. I've seen that the Nightwing shirt's a popular shirt. Sure, it's not Superman or Batman level, but the Nightwing shirt's a popular deal. And a lot of Spider-Man fans, a lot of Flash fans really like Grayson. We have not had anything for Robin or Dick Grayson, Nightwing, whatever you want to call him, outside of Batman Forever and Robin and the Titans show, which was not even, that to me is non-existent because he was just Batman. Yeah. We've not had that. And yet here we are resorting to Amanda Waller.
It's interesting. It's not interesting in any way. There's no excitement there. There's nothing to say.
Go ahead, Bill. Brian, I'm sorry.
No, it's like a background character that's, it's a character you cut to for certain exposition scenes.
Exactly.
Yeah, but there's no reason for that. It's a low risk character. If they fail, who cares? It's Amanda Waller. But if they succeed, they just now elevated that character to a higher status.
Well,
and speaking of succeeding, I'm gonna have to leave.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know you got to leave us, but I got to say one thing before you do go. The reason why Harley Quinn is so popular is this, guys. She may not have a comic necessarily that sells, but she does sell figures, T-shirts, posters.
Well, that's fine. I will.
You name it. She sells just as much
as Batman
and Joker do. And
what does Amanda Waller?
No, you're absolutely right. I'm not saying you're wrong.
I
Nick,
won't
but-
argue with the results for Harley. Like I love the original iteration of her from the animated
But anyway, we need to
series.
let Script get
Sorry,
going. So, yeah.
Script. I'm
Yeah,
obviously
sorry
on a
guys,
tangent.
I got a jet, but
All right, man.
pleasure
See you,
talking to you always.
Take
Take care,
care,
buddy.
sir.
Bye.
But anyways, bring it back to
Yeah.
Harley Quinn, Batman animated series. I love that iteration of the character. Now, even if I pretended that I hated her, I can't deny the results of her cultural relevance. People know who she is. Once again, we don't have anything from Amanda Waller. And here's another thing on top of it. Harley Quinn has headlined many comic book runs, and they've kind of been up and down throughout the times, but she still has an audience, and normies know her and comic book fans know her. So I can at least see why they're trying to do something with Harley Quinn, regardless of how I feel. And there's no runs, even though I wouldn't say I'm an Amanda Waller fan, I understand her impact in the DCU, but she is a supporting character. Not every character needs to have their own extra story so they can become a main character. Some characters just need to be in the background as a supporting character. I hate this idea that every single character on the planet has to be this way. There's a time and place for it and for stories, but not when it's every single damn character in the world.
The thing that they're shooting themselves in the foot with, I think, is constantly making series named after a single character rather than trying to do something more ensemble. If this show was called Cadmus, and you had a team of people, and Amanda Waller was the big boss in the back. You know, if you had sort of like a homicide life on the street situation where you had a team of people and you did different episodes featuring different characters doing different adventures, but Amanda Waller's always in the background, that would make more sense. You could grow the universe more by centering it around this one character, which, as mentioned, she's more of a back office antagonist than she is a lead. I mean, unless they do something amazing with her. But you know, you try. I think you tie yourself down too quickly with these single one-off. Got to make the single character the deal. The Avengers. Then you have the team. If you have a character that can carry their own thing, like Captain America, he's a lead. Harley Quinn isn't a lead. Amanda Waller isn't a lead. If you have somebody who's not a lead, put them in an ensemble piece first, and then see if the character over the course of that storyline is strong enough to resonate. Yeah, exactly. If they can then stand on their own, then maybe you got to do a reverse Avengers on this. You got to start with the team first, and then find the split off.
No, I don't disagree with that. And I mean, that's, I think, part of the problem Marvel's facing right now is they forgot, even though Scorsese and Tarantino keep telling them that, you know, Captain America's the star, Chris Evans not. You know what I mean? Like they're not getting the hint that people don't give a fuck about Ironheart. They only give a shit about Iron Man. Right?
Right.
They don't, I hate saying it, even though She-Hulk's a popular character, the mass general audience don't even fucking know she exists. Right? They only know of the Hulk. And when you ask who's the Hulk, they'll tell you. Right? Everybody knows it's Bruce Banner or David Banner because of how many people.
Bill Bixby show, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, it just shows you how much of an impact that show had at that time.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people where, like, you ask my dad, what's the name of the Hulk? He'll tell you David Banner.
Oh, dude, that was my dad, too. My dad, because I had to correct my dad when I discovered Hulk comics, because my dad was a big fan of the original Bill Bixby show. He loved that show. I remember watching it as a kid. I think it was on Sci-Fi Channel. And be like, oh, this is cool that there's a Hulk show. Like, even though it looked all ridiculous.
Yeah, he didn't care for either of the new ones.
I didn't care. I was just happy that I had a Hulk show as a kid. And remember hearing that too. But then I remember I got hold of a Hulk comic. I think it was Indestructible Hulk in 97, 98. I think it was called that, Indestructible Hulk. And then I saw in the books they kept calling him Bruce. I'm like, oh, he's Bruce? What? Is my entire life as a child a lie?
You're thinking, what is he? Is he Australian? What is
but no, but it was fun to learn. Okay, then I learned he's actually Bruce Banner, and that was cool because, you know, as I got to actually learn about him, who his villains were, learn about this greater universe, and yeah, what a time for me. Woo.
Yeah. But
so as a relative normie, all I can say is I'm very confused about what James Gunn is doing. I'm not quite sure where all this is starting, and you know, is Superman the start point? Is what else is it? Is it TV? Is it movies?
Yeah, I know.
Who's coming back? Who isn't coming back?
That's what I agree with, and like Script was saying, is what's the whole idea of like you should not have it to where your TV universe affects your movie universe. It should only be where your TV universe is affected by your movie universe, and that's
I think
it.
I would have been tempted if I was him in DC to say nothing until Superman was out.
Yeah, I don't mind the idea. I mean, you're definitely having a lot more work to do as far as continuity. I think it should come down to the basis of this. When you make the shows a thing, keep them in continuity and make them count. But if you don't watch them, you won't be penalized for it.
And that's
It should
why
be the additional. It should be just more icing on your cake. It should be the additional pepperoni on your pizza. It should be the additional cheese. That's all it should be. Is just that big bonus. But you shouldn't have to be punished. Whereas Phase 4 and beyond have become. If you don't watch any of these following shows, you are in a very dire mess of.
And Nick, that's why the simple rule of the movies cannot be affected by the TV shows, but the movies can affect the TV shows works. It did for S.H.I.E.L.D., regardless if you like the show or not. The only reason those shows functioned the way they did was because they followed along with the movies and they never interfered with each other. There was only one time they had a crossover, and guess what? They didn't even make a big deal out of it in the movie. All Samuel Jackson said is a friend was holding on to it for me when he was talking about the aircraft carrier. That was it. That was it. So I mean, at the end of the day, you can do it. It is possible, and that's what they should be doing. But I don't know if 6 is back yet. Are you back yet, 6? I think she's still away. But it sounds like you're being signaled for your dinner.
A man cannot live by comics alone. I must eat.
So go ahead and plug your wares, and then we'll head into some super chats here, and hopefully 6 will be able to chime in the meantime.
I've not got a great deal to plug. I do have a channel. That 70s Rock Fan. I did a nice little video appreciation of the great David McCallum yesterday.
Oh, man.
Which was, I'd like to have done more. It was like a 12-minute long video, just hitting some of the high points of the things that I loved.
He was great, man.
Yeah, lovely. It's lovely stuff. So, yeah, check that out if you get a chance. And, yeah, I'll be around. Thanks for having me again, Tom. Appreciate it.
No problem. It was good to have you for a few minutes.
Yeah,
take care.
Good night, everybody. Good to see you guys.
See you, dude.
Take care, buddy.
Bye.
All right. Let's get into some of these super chats. We got Waltman here who says, I know I'm going to ruffle some feathers, but Canada's Parliament, that was better than any current Hollywood comedy. You have to laugh at this point. Well, now that all the Canadians are gone.
That might as well have been a plot out of some kind of like British comedy series or something. Some people compared it to like an episode of Yes Minister. For those of you that know that old thing,
I kind of have an idea, but yeah.
Oh, it's absolute ridiculous. The level of incompetence.
It is like sitcom level shit, right?
It really is. If you think about it, except these are supposed to be like, the top of the pops in the Canadian government, and they all just bow down to the idea without reading the details. Like I said, it was like reacting to a tweet, and then you see the community notes. It's like, whoops.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too deep into it because, of course, YouTube. But again, it is laughable. It does feel like a plot out of a sitcom at this point. It's pretty horrible. And then Zale, I see you got one here for 6, but we'll save that for when she's back. Randall Orser says, I've heard a rumor that The Rock is taking over the Terminator franchise. Have you heard anything? No.
Please come out so I can watch that bomb. Please. I say that as a huge fan of The Rock from the Attitude Era. Please come out just so I can watch this lose so
Is this a Babylon B story or is this real? Like, you can't even tell
Babylon B.
I mean, honestly,
oh god,
maybe before The Rock was so well known, maybe perhaps because that was kind of why it worked for Schwarzenegger. Because people forget that was one of the movies that put him on the map. He had Conan before that, and that's really the only other thing that had resonated, with the audience.
Issue with Terminator. It was supposed to be 2 movies, and that was it. It didn't need.
Well, I would even argue the second movie is kind of stretching it. Even though I love the second movie and it's a great sequel, it's still the same movie as the first.
That's a fair argument. No, there's a fair argument. There's a fair argument to that, but it didn't need to be a series, and we don't need a whole backstory on all these other characters. And I'm sure maybe the Sarah Connor Chronicles is good. I've heard from people who watch it maybe it is, but. Did we need it? No. The story ended fine right where it was at the end of T2, where he freaking fell in the freaking lava.
there's enough of a thread open for part 2, and I think it's clever how Cameron literally remade the first movie. Like, I know some people, it's like a knee-jerk reaction to it, but it's like, no, watch the movie. It is a shot for shot, beat for beat, line for line remake of the original film. You only think it's different because instead of, Sarah saying her lines, it's John saying her lines. And instead of Kyle saying his lines, it's the Terminator saying his lines. Instead of the Terminator saying his lines, it's the T-1000 saying his lines. And instead of it being in a discotheque, it's in an arcade at a mall. Instead of it being, it's all the same.
Aliens is arguably a remake of Alien, just with more action. I mean, it's the same beats there too. Cameron's really good. Cameron's really good at remaking movies, but just amping them up enough to make you think it's something different.
Cameron knows how to change the movie enough to make you feel like it's different, but he does.
Right.
It's a smart technique.
Something
He
new
changes
to
it just enough that it looks new, but really, when you actually think about it and break it down, they're pretty much the same movie.
I mean, seriously, it's like, what's the first thing that Kyle says to Sarah? Come with me if you want to live. What's the first thing the Terminator says to John? Come with me if you want to live.
Oh yeah,
well, Kyle Reese in number 1. But
Kyle, that's what I said, isn't it?
Oh, I thought you said something else. Sorry.
No, I said Kyle in the first one. Yeah, it says Sarah Connor. Yeah, come with me if you want to live.
No, I'd love to see The Rock take over because it's going to bomb. It'll just bomb. It'll just show that not even
he would look good, but he would. I think he'd get in his own way. Scribe, I think you're right.
Has he ever? Okay, I got to ask. I mean, I'm trying to think back. Like, has there been a franchise that he has been the headliner of?
No,
like not an ensemble. Like he is the guy that has
we
gone
already know
on,
you're
like,
getting
one or two, maybe 2 movies. Okay, you guys already talked about this, but I'm just
I famously am one of the people that was first to point out that if you don't count the ensemble films, The Rock is not a reliable box office draw.
Exactly.
In fact, his highest grossing film is Black Adam, and that's considered a flop. He only got lucky with the San Andreas movie and the Skyscraper movie because I think they only cost like 70, 80 billion to make, and they actually made like 300 million.
Based off a spin-off from Fast and Furious, that was also a successful.
Well, that was Hobbs and Shaw. That was Hobbs and Shaw. I'm talking about Skyscraper and San Andreas. Those are his other 2 top grossing films.
Oh yeah, I remember saying. See, San Andreas did fairly good for its time, but it didn't do like gangbusters. Like wow,
no, it did 300 million worldwide.
This is the Rambo or the Total Recall.
Actually, I think it did more like 275. And then his next one after that would be the video game one with the ape. Jesus, I can't remember. Rampage. I think that did like 250 or something like that.
Yeah, but the draw there is more the special effects than like
exactly
Rock,
so,
which is the problem. Yeah, so he can't carry a movie all by himself, and so if they hand him Terminator, I mean, it's weird to say, but The Rock is no Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's not.
He likes to think he is, but
and the franchise is dead. Besides, there's nothing else to do with it. They have tried to reboot it in 7 different ways. They tried to gender swap it. It's done.
There's only one thing left. There's one thing left, Scribe.
Space.
What? Besides space.
I gotta
fucking remake. That's what. So don't give him any more
Wild
ideas.
West. Wild West. That's what we need to do.
There we go.
And I could see The Rock being a big enough star to remake the original film. You know what I mean? Like that's where they're at this point.
A minor retraction. I looked at the numbers for San Andreas, and they're not bad actually at all. Like
I said, San Andreas and Skyscraper did in the 300 million range. Yeah.
If I looked at the opening weekend domestically, came out Memorial Day weekend, it did 54 million. And this is in an era at 2015 where they were still doing the 8 o'clock showings at Thursday night. Its second weekend drop was only 52%. So even if you take out the 8 p.m. Thursday night numbers, that only makes it look even better. And it did 155 domestically with 473 worldwide. Now, I don't know the budget of this movie, but that's not a bad number. That's basically a phase 1 era, Marvel movie money. That's not bad at all. So I apologize, Rock. I got one wrong. I apologize if you're listening out there. And then it went.
All right. No, and then we've got 6 back here. So I'm going to do this a super chat here from Zale, who says, "Hope you get to feeling better, Lady 6. You have to be ready for Halloween. My niece always likes posing as a mannequin and scaring people."
That's
I thought of
awesome.
doing
Thank
that,
you,
but I'm
Zale.
afraid to. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Six.
That's awesome. I love I don't do jump scares at my house, but I do every year. I have multiple children who are too afraid to come up to the door for candy, and I tell them if you're not going to come up and get candy, you're not getting any candy. You can't give it to your little brother or your mom. You just don't get any. So I'm hardcore that way. Yeah, you have to come up and you have to say trick or treat.
I avoid the jump
Nice.
scares because I'm just deathly afraid of somebody falling, getting hurt. You know.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know. Yeah,
That's
like
the
when
thing.
if it's
Nowadays, you gotta
raining,
worry
I make
about-
sure to
yeah.
put rubber mats down to make sure nobody's because
Well,
you know they
what's-
like to, as soon as they get their candy, they like to
Yeah.
turn and run away.
Well, and
Yeah.
I got this kind of slope in front of my house where there's actual cement steps that go down to my front door, and the lawn is literally like a slope. So the last thing I need is a kid falling down because then it goes onto a cement
Yeah.
base at the bottom. So like I try it. What I'll do is I'll just put the candy at the top of the stairs, and I try to kind of keep an eye on it. But usually about the time that's happening, we're starting one of our shows or whatever, and then I go out there and some punk kid has stole all of it. So,
Oh, I'm sure.
so I kind of feed it out there in little bits and pieces. But Sadie goes ape shit nuts the whole night too. Anyway, but I mean I miss being able to just kind of hang out and hand out the candy. But between her and just being, you know, the hours that it conflicts with work, it's
Yeah.
it is what it is. But you know, I my kid's way out of the trick-or-treating age anyway, so I hadn't taken him in
It's on a-
years. So
It's on a Tuesday this year, so I will
Is it?
definitely not be here for meet that.
okay, fair enough. So we got caught up now to Mr. Buttcrack Media member chat here for 16 months. How you doing,
Hey.
Mr. Buttcrack?
Hey.
It's been a tick since we've seen you in the chat. I've seen you around in a few others though. Alex Kurtzman is an unemployable little bitch. Says, anyone interested in the MCU canon codification book? What the fuck is that?
Is that the one that James Gunn he's writing? Oh wait, sorry, wrong. I know I'm gonna get slaughtered now. James Gunn is writing the
I-
forwards for a DC book.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
DC
the-
book.
I saw that
So,
post he
yeah.
made about that DC book yesterday.
I have
It's
no
about-
idea
yeah.
what this is.
It's about
Oh, so-
obscure superheroes.
Oh, is someone trying to like have a sort of universe timeline / Bible
Like a
for
Bible?
the entire MCU?
I
Is that it?
see codification and I think gay, bi, straight.
What?
No,
lesbian-
codifying just means officiating. That's all it is. No, yeah, having something
I just saw
codified, like
book and got excited.
like if you had a law, if you had a like just as an example, not because the first thing comes to mind, the Democrats keep saying we need to codify Roe v. Wade. That just means making it official, make it into law rather than a precedent.
Okay.
That's what codification means.
You sure don't have nothing to do with pronouns?
I'm an English major. I have
Sexual
the credentials.
Are
I
you
have the
thinking
credentials.
cod
You
piece,
do,
Tom?
but they don't.
Yeah. I think Tom's thinking of like a cod piece,
No. Okay.
or maybe transforming things into fish. I'm not quite sure, but anyway. I'm just sorry.
I mean, the gay, the word gay codification I've heard before, gay code and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so that's where I kind of jumped to.
Unless the word's being used in a different way that I'm familiar with, MCU canon codification just means you make this the official. This is the official timeline, and or you're
Think
recording it as the official thing.
Think of it more like the preceding word, canon. It's just
Yeah.
kind of just
Fine.
cut out that codification word.
Yeah,
and
it's
just
almost
see
redundancy. Yeah,
They
Yeah,
are
it's redundant.
coded gay for canon now. See, that's what I'm getting at.
Okay, fine.
Wow,
That's exactly
sounds
what
like
it means,
Toxic
Tom.
Tuesday.
Yeah,
You broke the
it's-
code.
They
That's what
want
it means.
Captain America sucking some dick.
Oh,
they're gonna be all like,
my
That's what
God.
America's all about.
Jeez.
Oh my gosh. Well, this is Tom's universe, so codification means what Tom says.
Well, no, here's my
Yeah.
problem with this whole thing. I've said this many a times, so I've got witnesses. If you're going to
Okay.
make something gay, you better fucking make it gay.
Whoa.
Like, I want it to be flaming gay.
Okay, Homer.
If you're going to make something black, then make it fucking the whiz black. I'm talking, you're going to make a movie like Black's, sure, I'll watch Black Ghostbusters. Like, who wouldn't? I'll watch any movie you want to do. I don't care. If you really have the need, you feel the need. This is why I'm going to make a studio where I'm going to remake movies, and it's just going to be everybody recast as little people in little sets and little costumes.
This is a very
I've
handy
told you
Randy
about this
approach.
before. This is absolutely something I've talked about before, and I'm going to do it one of
Okay.
these days. You guys laugh about it. One of these days, little RoboCop, the trailer is going to be popping up. Little Ghostbusters.
You know, I was thinking at the beginning of the show, I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to be accused of something, but the most hilarious thing in the world, I think, would be little people curling.
See? There's potential with this.
Oh man.
And then the beauty of it is if you make something that has little people in it, then you cast regular sized people in those roles. Because the world for the little people is normal. Like everything is sized to them. Like we don't call attention to the fact that they're little people, right? It's just they go about their business. It's a shot for shot remake of everything else, just with little people, little props.
Here we go.
Okay, so Wizard of Oz.
Fun size films. Yes.
Fun size. So Wizard of Oz, Dorothy shows up, and instead of the Lollipop Guild, it's like the Beanpole Guild.
Yes.
Okay. All right. The Beanpole Guild.
They're
All
like
right,
giants. Exactly. Yes. We get like a bunch of basketball players.
Fun size film. You ever see the movie?
God, that would be
completely
amazing.
tangent. You ever see the movie Tippy Toes?
Yes.
Tiptoes. Oh,
Yes.
okay. Gary Oldman as a dwarf. Yeah, okay.
Of course, I've seen a movie about a dwarf.
Okay, just saying.
And if anyone's listening and they're offended, please be sure to leave a like or dislike and leave a comment.
Sorry,
Stream.
Scribe is not
engagement.
aware of my little person fetish, evidently.
Oh man, you should talk to my friend Ranting Monkey. His favorite thing in the world is watching little people run. He can't get enough of watching little people run. And have you heard of the female raptor's left cheek and right cheek?
No, I haven't.
You should look up left cheek, right cheek. We've past shows were centered around those characters.
Yes, the Three Little Stooges. Now you're talking.
The littlest Ghostbusters.
I don't care if I get flagged. I'm gonna employ so many little people. I'll be like Santa Claus.
Oh man.
He's going to be the opposite of what's that guy who ruined it for
Yeah, Peter Dinklage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom is the opposite of Peter Dinklage.
Yes. Tippy Toes, actually. Or Tiptoes, or whatever it's called. But Gary Oldman plays the main dwarf in it. We got this one already. Okay, so yeah, we're caught up there.
Okay, I'll get that.
Rip Michael Gambon. Who's Michael Gambon?
Yeah, he's
Dumbledore.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Duh. Took me a moment. I'm sorry.
David McCallum yesterday, whatever.
Yeah, I didn't watch. I was not a fan of the Harry Potters. The thing I think I remember most from would be Sleepy Hollow, probably.
He was also brilliant on a great Doctor Who Christmas special called the Doctor Who's Christmas Carol episode with Matt Smith. He was brilliant.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, we talked a little bit about him earlier. I'm sorry, I totally blanked the name out. That's why he's one of those character actors, like I said, that you see him in a million things. You know him when you see him.
Right.
He's been in quite a few films and television shows.
Definitely.
Yeah. Of course, he took over for Dumbledore after the other actor passed.
Yeah, Richard Harris.
Yeah. Yep, indeed. And then we've got Randall Orser here who says, I've heard the rumor that... Oh, we got this one already. Distracting B says, J.K. Simmons reprised his role in Spider-Man. Right, yes.
Yeah, except that at least in that instance, that was a multiverse story where there were similarities crossing over. Yeah, and so...
Turned him into Alex Jones.
Yeah, he's kind of more of an Alex Jones version, yeah.
Sucked. I hated that.
Yeah, so MCU had the excuse of a shared multiverse, whereas what DC's doing is they didn't actually end up using the Flash for that, so now they're stuck doing a soft reboot or something. And so yeah, using the same actors in some instances, but not in others. Makes
we have another thing too. J.K. Simmons is absolutely J. Jonah Jameson. He straight up defined that role in that part. He's one of those guys where you affiliate his character with him. He's one of those guys.
Well, he made him likable.
Oh, I've always loved him in the book. So.
You serious?
I've always loved the character. So that for me, he
liked the character, but I think he added an edge to it that
it's not likable.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
A great character is not likable.
Yeah, I mean, it's JK added that spark to it that
you did make him more likable. Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of like he's just an idiot in a way. Like I hate putting it any other way, but and then I love the bit where he has the costume and he's jumping around to the costume. I think that was from an edited scene out, but he's like, hey, that's my costume. He stole it back.
Seriously, he went, even though I had already been reading Spider-Man comics for a few years at that point, by the time that, the first Tobey movie came out, by the time that movie came out, I affiliated his voice with any comic I read going forward. the same way I affiliate Kevin Conroy with Batman.
Batman.
J.K. Simmons automatically became
I can
the
see
voice
that.
for me. Yeah, it was always that way going forward.
Then Jesus Davila says that's a super sticker. Probably a thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up if
It
you haven't
is.
already. It is. Thank you. And with that, we are caught up, I believe, on the super. No, we got one more. Combat Killer says, Tom, little Star Wars, what you think? Oh, hell yeah, of course. But the Jawas would all be like really tall people.
Tall was.
Yeah. And
Yoda would be
Chewbacca-
like the Incredible Hulk.
Chewie would be like a Wookiee or Ewok.
Chewie is a Wookiee.
No, but Ewoks are basically Wookiees that are cut in half with short hair. So I'm gonna have to work that one out. He's gonna look so adorable. He's gonna look like Itchy or whatever the hell the name of the little kid was. Chewie. But I can't remember what the hell the name of the little shit was. Anyway, yeah, of course we're gonna do Star Wars. That's a given. You can't not. We got one more story to do here, and we're losing Scribe here in a few minutes, so I want to grab his opinion on this. Because Andre lovingly calls Lionsgate Bombsgate, and he has for many years. And Lionsgate had a nice little streak going there for a while. But after the Expendables flopped as hard as it has, and with the Hunger Games on the horizon not looking like it's going to do what they're hoping, can Saw save Lionsgate?
Not by itself.
That's the question I have here.
I hope it does not.
John Wick is their only other major franchise they really have.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's already kind of like the Continental just came out. It's getting terrible reviews as a spinoff from John Wick. People just want to see Keanu Reeves shooting people. They don't want like a shared.
Well, even John
universe.
Wick 4 wasn't that a bit of a down at the box office from the last three?
As compared to the previous, it seems to be going down a bit.
Look at the
Two,
numbers.
yeah,
Let's
1 and
look
2
at
I
the
think were
numbers.
the best, and then it started
Granted-
like diminishing.
Well, no, one. Okay, so I'm gonna look.
One
at the
was like a
numbers right
sleeper
now.
hit. I know that.
Yeah,
Yes.
one was a sleeper hit. No,
2 made the big
worldwide
money.
chapter 4. Now, obviously, this is now adjusted for inflation. Not adjusted. Chapter 4 is at 428 worldwide with a 187
Not bad.
domestic take.
Mm.
3 is at a 328 worldwide. So that's $100 million.
Okay, so probably with inflation, it's about average.
probably around the same.
So
Probably
John
right
Wick
around
is the only
same.
thing keeping this house afloat right now.
Yes.
And Saw is their other major franchise that they have that's profitable.
Mhm.
And that one has a new the new episode coming out. What is it, this week or next week? I can't remember which.
Yeah. How many years has been since the last Saw entry though? Because like
Spiral, I think it was called or whatever, wasn't it? Something like that. The Chris
but
Rock
that-
one.
Yeah, the Chris Rock thing. But that I don't recall that one doing all that well. But maybe of course I don't know what the budget was on it either. So who knows what kind of profits it were.
That's the thing. The Saw movies were kind of like a mainstay. Like every Halloween, we were going to get one, even though I never see any of them. They cost nothing to make. They're like Friday the 13th in that respect.
Sure.
So for Lionsgate, they're very profitable. They're very
Yeah.
profitable. They keep re-releasing them on disc, so I'm sure they keep selling very well. In fact, you can get right now. I think Walmart has a special steelbook box set for real cheap. You can get all 10 of the earlier films anyway.
Horror fans are also a very dedicated bunch. Even if the movie's crap, a lot of them, like me, when I was reading comic books, they're completists. Even if the movie's bad, but they're a fan of like the originals of a series, they will still do it because they got to fulfill their OCD of having the collection, no matter how bad it is. And I was that way with comics for a long time until I learned to let it go. So I kind of get that point of view too, because horror fans are a very dedicated bunch as well, like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, what we have here is I was trying to get this to where the stupid ad would get out of the way. There we go. This is top grossing films at Lionsgate right here. This is a great graph. Thank you, Six, for finding this version of this. Hunger Games, of course, we all know is their big franchise. Now, Twilight, they are rebooting Twilight, right, Six? But I think they're doing a series.
Oh yeah, they are. Can't wait.
Oh no. What?
But hey, I mean, it's something they got that makes money. I mean,
I guess. Yeah.
instead of a movie, but I mean, does anybody really think that this Hunger Games prequel is going to perform nearly as well? And I thought the Hunger Games movies did better than this.
Isn't it Ziegler or whatever is starring in it?
Oh, Global. I was going to say, okay, here we go. I was going to say, duh. Okay.
I know she's in it. I don't know if she's how big of her role is. Though.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know.
'cause it's not Jennifer Lawrence again, is it? Or is she coming back?
No, this is a
Jennifer Lawrence is in
prequel.
everything.
No, she hasn't been
Oh,
born yet.
prequel. Pardon me.
Yeah,
Pardon
that's
me.
what I'm saying. So is there even really any interest in this? I mean, as far as I know, I think like isn't Peter Dinklage in it? And
Oh,
trying to
sure, why
remember
not?
who else is in it. I mean, and I think there's some younger versions of characters from the other films, but yeah, it's supposed to be a prequel. I don't know if it's like
Yeah,
the
they'd have-
first
they'd-
ever Hunger Games, but like
They'd have to have like a younger version of Donald Sutherland, I'm assuming, or something like that.
I believe so. Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I think they waited too
Never
long.
watched them.
Yeah, there's been too much
I
time
loved
that's
them.
passed. But
Love the books, love the movies. Don't care about this prequel.
I understand the concept. Like I get it. I get why people dig it. But then of course after those two franchises, you got the John Wick ones, which have been pretty solid. Looks like here, for the most part, at least especially 4 and 3. 2 doesn't even pop up on here. And then we see why they continue to do the Expendables because that first film did really well. I'm surprised the other two, at least the second one, didn't make it up here because I thought the second one did better than the first film at the box office. But then it didn't do as well on the U.S. side, so maybe that's where it evened out. They also have the Now You See Me franchise, evidently. I forgot they even had anything to do with that. That one has another a series or something like that. I sadly did not either, even though Ed Sullivan wrote them. I was like, ugh, they were really
Are those horror movies?
No, they were like the
caper
magic
movies.
papers.
Yeah, it's like Ocean's 8 with magic tricks. That's all it is.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Who is it? Like, what's his face? The kid from The Offer. What's his name? He's the main
That's okay.
star. Trying to think. Or is
Well, you
it
had Woody
somebody else?
Harrelson, and you had
Yeah, but
what's his name from The Social Network? Lex Luthor. I forget
oh,
his
that's
name.
who I'm thinking of. That's who I'm thinking of. Jesse Eisenberg.
Eisenberg. That's right.
I
Yeah,
was
and Mark
misremembering.
Ruffalo was in there too.
Mark
So he had a whole
Ruffalo's
bunch of
another one.
yeah, he had a whole bunch, but they were just I found them obnoxious. I don't know how to explain it. The characters and the situation I just felt like were obnoxious.
The end
No
had one of
Power
those weird
Rangers on there,
twists.
Goddess.
Yeah,
the
no Power
twist.
Rangers. I know people love the Power Rangers. They just are not as big of a franchise as they used to be. And that new movie flopped, sadly.
Yeah.
But they are starting again with something. I know. I think they got a new movie on the
Sorry,
horizon.
Donnie.
And then you got the Divergent series, which never really went anywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know they had anything to do with the Knives Out films. Good for them, I
Well,
guess.
the second one was just on Netflix, wasn't it?
Yeah, but that means it got paid for, yeah.
Right.
So they made money on it.
Yeah.
So,
So,
yeah,
all their franchises there are at least a decade or more old at this point, practically.
That's true.
And they don't have anything new to offer, so they're rebooting Hunger Games with a prequel. They're rebooting Twilight. They're not putting out anything. They don't. And Expendables just died, so they've got nothing. They've got nothing fresh. They're just going back to the barrel for what worked in the
Well,
past.
I
that's a
bet you
losing
they're gonna
proposition.
put out a all-female Expendables next. They're not going to.
They've been talking about it for a while, called the Expendables.
Yeah.
They're gonna
for
think
fuck's
that,
sake.
that as we
Well,
like
I don't know
to
if it will
say,
now.
Hollywood learns all the wrong lessons. They're gonna say, well, maybe this movie did so bad because it was mostly men. So this will fix the problem.
You know what'll fix the
straight up
problem?
Probably contemplating that. I can't prove
They
that.
need to cut Warwick Davis a big fat check and say, "Come make us a Leprechaun movie, Little People Rock."
There you
Bring
go.
him out of Leprechaun retirement. Leprechaun
Yeah.
returns. Telling you right now, or the Revenge
Do
of
a
the
Leprechaun shared universe of old Celtic tales and start with the Leprechaun, move on to the Banshees and everything.
Or
Yeah,
just-
sure, why not?
Reboot it with Warwick, though. I mean, he's in makeup anyway. I mean, he was. I mean, because I saw that new one they did a couple years back. Oh my god, it was horrible. That other actor.
Oh, it was
they had in
terrible.
it.
It was terrible.
It was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
But no, like I'm half kidding, but no, seriously, like the Leprechaun franchise hasn't had a movie in a while. You guys have fucked around with it a couple times, tried to refresh it a few ways. Warwick Davis didn't want to do it again because of his kids. Now his kids got to be getting older. Cut him a big fat check, he'll fucking do it. I bet you he
old is
will.
he?
In his 50s, I think, because he's not much older than us. I mean, I think he's closer to like in between, like because he was like 12 when he was on Jedi, so that was 83.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, he could do movies like that for another 10 years.
no, the only reason he doesn't now, because he'll still do like if he's at a convention or something. I think he'll still sign all that stuff. He even does like lines and stuff from Leprechaun. But the reason he said he doesn't do the movies anymore is because he invites his family to the set all the time, and he didn't want his younger children seeing him in the scary makeup.
Right.
And now this has already been X amount of years, so I wonder how old his kids are now. They got to be getting to that point where you would think he'd be like, all right, I think I can get back into the uniform again.
Yeah. And besides, Lionsgate kind of built their foundation on relatively cheap but high profitability horror films.
Well, and that was one of the ones they bought up from Trimark, but yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, especially with these budgets and everything else, I mean, if they're not making back the money they're spending, like on Expendables and so on, they might have to go back to basics and just make like small budget movies with big draws and like you say Leprechaun or other horror movies or something.
Other horror films. I've been saying this for a while. Every studio, I don't know why they're not doing this, and Script Doctor agreed. I don't know why every studio isn't setting up their own like Blumhouse right now.
Yeah,
like a little portion of their studio that literally takes like $50 million a year and makes like 7 or 8 little horror films.
Yeah,
like how are you not doing this on an average? Because that's really what Blumhouse does. And then sometimes they'll sit on these things and they'll have an actor who will, become a big actor, a big star, and they bank on it. I think Lionsgate also owns the rights to the Blair Witch Project. I think they also have the Cabin in the Woods franchise, if I'm not mistaken. Unless that's a Blumhouse one.
Is that a franchise?
Well, that was one that they've had a couple of them anyway.
There have been a couple. I thought there was only the one. I didn't know.
I think there's 2.
Yeah, wasn't that a Josh or his brother Whedon one or something?
Yeah, I like the first. The only one I know about. The first one was pretty.
I thought it ended like the world ended, so I don't know how you followed that one. But
could be. I did not know there was another, but
yeah, I don't know. I think there was like a sequel or a reboot or something like that.
Well, there was Cabin Fever. That was a different.
No, movie. I swear there's like 2 different Cabin in the Woods, and one's like a reboot cool.
Okay.
Cabin by the Lake.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Because the first one had Chris Hemsworth in it. That I know.
Yes.
Yes, briefly.
Yeah. I got to split, guys. Appreciate.
All right, and that was Lionsgate.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hope you guys have a good rest of the evening.
Yeah,
everybody.
And thanks for being here, brother.
Be good, man.
Quick plug. In 30 minutes on my channel, I'll be doing my weekly episode of TED Excellence. Where I take a look at TEDx talks or TED Talks, depending, and take a look and see if we can learn something tonight.
Oh my God. I saw the best. Sorry, I know I'm totally interrupting, but I thought of you the other day because I saw a TED Talk. This woman gave her 13-year-old daughter, a vibrator.
What?
Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about. I kind of avoided that one because I didn't want to
that's not very safe for YouTube. Holy shit.
Yeah, but the one tonight I'm going completely off of the title and the implication. The one tonight is called "This Talk May Be Banned in Schools." I think he's going to be defending the books that are trying to be taken out of schools recently, not like the classically. And I don't know for sure because I don't watch this ahead of time. But either way, we'll find out together in half an hour at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern on my channel. For TED Excellence. Everybody, hope you have a good rest of the evening. Tom,
and just for your own sanity, you were right. I was thinking of something else. There's no sequel to Cabin in the Woods. All right, take care, guys.
Yep. Bye.
Or take care, Scribe. I mean, we're not going to
be over.
No, I was like, oh yeah. Duh.
Bye, Scribe.
Have we seen the new trailer for He-Man Motu Revelations? I did see that minute clip. I don't know. Did anybody else see it?
No.
Okay. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Saw and Hunger Games pan out for Lionsgate because, I don't think they're in very good shape right now. But they're lucky they had John Wick 4 this year, I guess. Sadie.
What's wrong with the puppy?
I don't even know what she wants. She's been out 20 times already. But I guess she's telling me it's time.
I guess she's not done. I guess she's got a lot more lemonade. She's got another lemonade stand she's got to create for you.
What she'll do is she'll go outside, forget she's going outside to go potty because she'll get distracted by a squirrel or a leaf. And then she'll sit there and she'll go, "Oh yeah, I got to come back inside." And then she'll go, "Oh yeah, I had to go potty 20 minutes ago." And she's being very aggressive right now.
I heard her. She sounds like she's got a maybe this time it's gotta be the Browns at the Super Bowl.
She's starting to bop my hand around, which means she wants me to get up.
Hey Sadie, Is it a field goal you got to kick, or is it gonna be an interception?
Is that like code for Sadie has to poop?
Sadie.
Is that what Nick is trying to say?
I'm
Sadie-
using football language to talk about turd.
Sadie wants to be on the show. Wants to talk.
Yeah, why'd he turn his camera off?
She wants
Well,
to talk.
If she gets enough yards, she can score a touchdown.
Oh my god.
Who's a good doggy? Well,
Hi, Sadie.
Sadie wants to be on the show.
I mean, I can't blame her. I totally get it. I totally get it. Sadie wants to be on camera, so it makes too much sense.
If she's on camera, she's the star.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. Super chats will be flying the minute that
Unless
happens. Oh,
unless
Sadie!
Kunta,
That's
what
the
does he
first
call
thing she
his
does. She
cat?
goes out and she barks. So she's gonna forget
Huh?
she had to go potty again.
Travis.
Does anybody care that Tom Hanks is coming back as Woody?
No.
Probably not.
Even if you
We all
take out
figured he
all
would.
the political stigma out of the picture, which I'm capable of doing for a role like that, it's just the story's done.
It's done.
Just and this once again, no one will let anything go. Like I
Yeah.
honestly thought Toy Story 3 was a great ending. Like
I
great,
love it.
was
Yes.
more of a
Four-
darker movie.
4 was useless.
Yeah, 4 was needless. 3 was for me one of the best number 3 movies like ever.
Yeah.
I know the ball's not high, but I think it really was a great ending. It was very heartfelt,
I agree
and
with that.
it really made the story feel tense, and it was kind of scary at times. I loved it. I saw it opening night in theaters. We don't need it anymore. Like, just once again, and obviously it's not just a Disney problem; it's a Hollywood problem. Let these stories end. Like, at one point, you realize you're losing more money just making these things, just making them.
Yeah.
I know some people didn't like the end of the third one because they're like, Andy should have kept his toys. Andy would, and I'm like,
Nah.
you don't remember being that age, do you? Why you had to go
No.
rebuy all that shit on eBay, do you?
Yeah. Oh, that's me, man. I've had to rebuy
Exactly.
so much on eBay. Thank you.
Because
eBay,
otherwise,
by
what's the
way.
alternate ending to that? It's very fucking depressing because it's basically the toys all get put on a fucking shelf and never get played with again. That's
Right.
the other
yeah.
alternate ending to that. Come on. I mean, what else you gonna do?
It was a perfect ending. It was.
I
Perfect.
thought so too. Passing on to another generation, and yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
And then there's
I
some
love-
people,
I
oh,
thought
Andy
it
should have
was
saved it for
perfect.
his kids. I'm like, well, when do we know Andy's gonna even have kids? Knowing Disney, they'll make him gay.
Nobody ever does that.
And that was still a time where their movies were obviously probably the last of the time where their movies were better. Once again, that ending was so perfect. Why wait on the kids? I know, yes, you could do a fast forward scene, but once again, the whole gist was about the toys having life, around the home, being used all the time, not sitting on the shelves collecting dust. Those toys like to be around, and those toys were at that point where they were being used a little bit. Yeah. So why not pass it down to a kid? Like, I would do the same thing. If there's toys that I was able to successfully hold on to, I would love to have passed so many of them down to my kids. That's the dream for me. I remember I saw 2 of my blankets, one from when I was a teenager, one from when I was a baby, and I passed them down individually to both my daughters, so they both have one of my long-term blankets. That's the ultimate dad life, is to give back to your kids. So that was a very heartfelt, parental passing the torch type of moment. I loved it. It was one of the best endings ever.
In Mr. Mom, Michael Keaton's character burned the blanket.
That's right.
He didn't let him keep it to pass.
Do you
it
know
on.
how
his whoopee?
parents would probably freak out on that bit right now nowadays? That 6. They'd be like, "Oh, that's detrimental to the child." We probably just gave him PTSD.
Well, yeah. Did you hear what she said about Bambi, the chick doing the Bambi?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I heard something about that. Like they're gonna try and make it more kid friendly. It's like,
More
now you're worried
sensitive.
about something being more kid friendly.
Of course.
What did you say?
Bam. I said now they're worried about something being more kid friendly.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. No,
Every child
Bambi's
should go through the trauma of sitting there and watching Bambi's mom
fucking A. We
or
all did.
knowing that she died. Yeah, it was terrible. It was absolutely
Right?
terrible.
But it's
Fuck
kind of like
me
one
up.
of those rites of passage as a kid, though.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you can't. That's the main part of the story. That's the turning point of the story. I mean, you can't. How else are you going to handle it? She lives.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that tightness in my chest anytime somebody says Bambi, because I'm like, oh.
Well, yeah, we all feel for Bambi because
that's something that every child should.
Well, yeah. It makes you appreciate your mom. No, you're all right. It's not like you dropped your microphone. But no, I heard about that. Why? And what's funny is, isn't she the same director who just directed some horror movie or some shit like that?
Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah.
Oh, and Pet Sematary. Pet Sematary is
the new Pet Sematary. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
I think she's working on Sleepy Hollow.
Are they doing another Sleepy, like a new version of it or something? Or
yeah.
Oh, balls. Tim Burton did it good enough. There's the Disney version and the Tim Burton one, and that's it.
I can never have enough versions of that story. I love it.
All right, well, whatever.
Because it has horses in it.
Well, I thought, the Disney version's a good enough version for the kids, and I thought that's Tim Burton's only R-rated film. I don't know if most people don't know that or not. Yeah.
I never even knew that was why is it?
Yeah, I didn't either. Because of the decapitations, I bet.
Man, well.
Oh.
That's the only reason I can see why. I don't think there's any other thing wrong with the movie. The MPAA have always been very, very, very against decapitations. Yeah. And that whole movie's about decapitation.
Well, yeah. True.
It is kind of bloody too. So I mean, I know I didn't realize it till because I got the 4K this a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, I saw the R on it, and I'm like, did they mess this up?
I wonder if it's streaming anywhere. Now I want to watch it.
And I looked, and I'm like, oh no, shit, it is R-rated. Holy crap! And I remember seeing it in the theater.
What's the Tim? Is it just called Sleepy Hollow?
I think so. Yeah,
I think so. 1999 or
yeah,
something.
it just came out on 4K. It's actually a pretty nice set. It comes with the actual original story with it.
Oh, it's on Max. So if you have Max,
there you go.
Let's do a watch party. Everybody watch Max, and we'll all pretend that we're on my bed eating popcorn, watching Sleepy Hollow together.
You got enough room?
No, not with my cats.
Plural.
Cats take up so much room.
Tim Burton reimagining Toy Story.
No, thank you.
That'd be like something between Nightmare Before Christmas and like
de-imagining.
Oh wow. I would kind of want to see that now.
That would be, yeah, I'd like to see that.
It's about Timmy, the sad little toy.
About a Halloween version of Toy Story.
He'd make a toy like it'd be like Edward Scissorhands, like the toy that nobody wanted. That's the kind of movie he'd make.
Yeah.
But then you find out later the toy has a special power or something. Yeah. That's a Tim Burton movie right there.
The whole scene with all those messed up toys in the first film that Sid created is very Ted Burton-esque. Anyway.
It is. You're right, Clobby.
Very Tim Burton.
That's true. You know what's funny is that one kid who's from Meet the Millers or whatever the hell it's called, and he was played that redheaded guy. People always think he played Sid in the movie. He's like, it's a cartoon. Once you see who I'm talking about, you'll know who I'm talking about. I think he play Will Poulter. That's his name. Yes. The guy who played
Warlock.
Yeah, Warlock. Yeah, he says all the time people ask him if he played Sid in Toy Story. Yeah. He's like, it's a fucking cartoon. It's like,
somebody did the voice, but not him, obviously.
Well, he was. I think he was like a younger child, not a child actor, but he's always been a younger. He did look like when he was younger, especially looked. Now he's all beefed up, but yeah.
Didn't Sid make a guest appearance in the third one? He was older.
I think in the background or something like that. There's a character
he was in it. Yeah.
They imply that it's him. Yeah.
Right.
I think.
Yeah, I believe so.
Kind of like how Bobby Hill shows up in Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe.
Oh yeah.
Is Bobby in that? I know Hank is.
There's that rumor that is he Hank in it too? I was gonna say there's a rumor that older version, it's an older version of Bobby in there. Yeah. And then of course the new show I think is supposed to have jumped time.
It did, yeah.
Show left off that's coming out. Because I don't know if they're gonna address Leanne being gone or not. I think they're just gonna marry her off and say she's off with some guy probably. But
damn it, Bobby.
I wonder how they'll address that. But yeah.
Yeah, damn it, Bobby.
Yeah. God, how long ago did we lose her? What's her face? Brittany.
Spears?
No. The one who did the voice of Leanne. She was also in Clueless and
Murphy?
Brittany Murphy.
Brittany Murphy.
It's been a
Yeah.
while now.
Yeah, I was gonna say 2009. It's been that. No.
Whoa, really?
Wow.
No.
I say she was pretty young when she went. Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Sad. Yeah.
But all right, kids. Let's unless there was anything else we wanted to hit on. Did you really want me to show this one deal 6 about the actors? Marvel?
No, the article, it's like a week old. It's pretty long too.
Yeah, I just see it as kind of a.
It goes into a lot of different.
I mean,
There's
well,
a lot
okay,
of
just
little tidbits in it.
just so people know, like the main thing is it's saying that
Yeah.
the actors used performance enhancing drugs, and I was like, well, yeah, all actors do.
What a shock!
Yeah,
You can't say
Sly.
that. You can't say all.
A lot of them have over the
Many.
years. Sly even admitted
Many
to
do.
it.
Yeah, I admitted it. I was being truthful about it. At least I come forward and come clean. Look, I'm out of the
At least-
closet.
I look at it this way: if they're not being athletes, I don't give a shit. It's their bodies. You know what I mean? Like if they want to do that to it, that's as far as I know, like
That's on them.
Schwarzenegger, he he admitted to doing it back then too, and all that stuff when he was I believe even when he was competing. But of course, back then I don't think that they knew exactly what it was or the laws were the same back then either. But as far as actors, though, yeah, it's very common, very very common that they use some sort of growth hormone or performance enhancement.
Are you talking about those who are trying to beef up, or you?
Yes.
Because you said all actors.
Sorry, that's what I meant. Yes, I meant when
Okay.
they're beefing up. And even then, it's not all, but I'm guaranteeing at least a good 90% of use some sort of enhancement to help them out. Yes. Because a lot of the times they're getting majorly jacked in a matter of weeks, right? Like, so they only get like 6 weeks sometimes to get in shape. So, yeah, it's not like they're in sports. Exactly, Mecca. That's what I'm thinking. If they're in
That's
sports,
exactly what Tom said backstage.
yeah, if they're in sports, I'd be like, okay, that's a bit more spicier, but it's like, to me, it's not much different than getting plastic surgery. Is the way I look at it.
As long as it's not hurting somebody else, I
Exactly.
don't care.
I mean, it's their bodies. I mean,
They're not competing. If you're in the Olympics
No.
and you're doing that shit, fuck you.
that's my point. If you're in football, basketball, baseball, something like
Yeah.
that, now it's a different conversation. Like if you're in competing sports.
Right.
Like I said, even back in the day, bodybuilding had looser rules when Schwarzenegger was competing, from what I remember in his book. So, like, yeah. Because a lot of that stuff, they didn't even know what it all was yet. But anyway, they used to inject themselves full of some weird shit back in the day, though.
Yep, they did.
Like fucking bull shark testosterone and shit.
Oh my god,
Yeah. Yeah, some weird shit.
that's gross.
I don't know, Sander, but I do know that Sly definitely has what I call steroid
How do
hands.
you know?
Well, he's
I'm
admitted
sorry, I
it.
talked over you. What did you say?
Steroid hands. It's
Oh.
one of the yeah.
What
They
are those?
basically they look like knuckle dragon hands. You get really fat fucking knuckles, and you
Huh.
notice because you look at younger Stallone in like Rocky 2. You can start to see his knuckles get wider and wider and wider by the time you get to like it really starts to show as the man gets older. Schwarzenegger's starting to get him too. Yeah, it's just because they're so roided out. Yeah. Yeah, it was legal then too. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Jackman, I think he has, but I don't know if he does it as much as the other guys do. But he's really tall and slender too. That's the thing he's got going on. But
And
anyway.
single.
Yeah.
Now he's single.
Yeah.
You're right.
Is he?
Oh yeah, and like all the wrestlers, they have admitted that. Like even Hulk Hogan and those guys said they used to get it handed out with them with their paychecks.
Really?
Yeah.
That's whatever.
Wow.
Well, wrestling
such
is
a foreign world to me.
Wrestling.
You know, it's kind of like it's not real, so it's like, yeah. But people really get hurt. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's the way I look at it. But at the end of the day, it is what it is, I guess.
Yep.
I'm not going to tell other people what they can put in their body. I'm the last one to fucking talk.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh boy.
I
Same.
suppose, kids. Let's get out of here unless there was anything else that you guys remembered that we could talk about. We could talk about Britney Spears since you brought her up.
Oh, baby, baby.
Did you guys see this awesome
What do you
video
do now?
With the knives?
that's taking over the internet? Her and Mikey.
Oh boy.
Same energy. I mean,
what the hell?
the dogs are like, what the fuck?
She is crazy.
Here's what I think she's been doing. She keeps doing these videos and she keeps getting attention for them. I think they're
Oh
just
my God,
her.
I almost passed out.
They're her dance routines. I think is what they are from her shows.
There's
Is all they
somebody's
are.
dance routine.
Yeah, I mean that's what she's doing. But I mean, it's just she looks like a freakazoid doing them. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, because there's no, like, you don't have, you can hear her feet on the floor. And you can hear her arms swishing around, and you can, you don't get the polished, produced version of somebody doing a dance routine. There's no
It's a
background
bad
music.
angle too, because normally when you
so-
see these stars, you're looking up at them too as well. Like it's a different angle than we're used to seeing the dance routine. And again,
She's
she should
rehearsing
have
for something, and she's
either rehearsing or whatever. Sorry.
So it's weird that she puts it on the internet in that form.
It's because she got attention for one, and these
Like,
people
hand it
get
off to an
paid.
intern and put some sparkly music and blur out the background and keep your
Something.
dogs out of there, for fuck's sake. People will
That's
go
because-
ape shit when they think animals are in danger.
I'll tell you what, this poor girl, and this is where I'm starting to feel sorry for her. She's definitely like caged up in this fucking house for probably most of the day.
Hold
and
up.
Doesn't get out very
No,
often.
no.
So
You're the same person amongst all of us who were complaining about celebs complaining about being locked up in their giant homes in 2020.
she is mentally fucking ill, Six. Let's be
I know,
fucking
but
real.
she can leave her house if she wants to. Can she not?
Is there
or is she on house
conservatorship
arrest?
thing? I don't know. Is her conservatorship thing all cleared up?
I think it's all cleared up.
Okay, well, I don't know who's fucking controlling her shit right now, but she clearly has no life.
I wouldn't feel badly for anyone who's locked up in a mansion with dogs.
I don't
That
feel
would be
bad
fun.
for her, but like at the same time, it's like
I
don't
feel
think
bad
she
because she's
realized-
mentally ill.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think she realizes people are making fun of her. That's what I'm saying. That makes sense.
Oh, really? You think she doesn't know what she looks like, or does she not care? Is she just looking for attention, whether it's good or bad?
I think it's kind of the latter, but I think she actually thinks people like it. Like you got to remember, she's Britney Spears. She's been
I know. Since she was a
pampered her whole
kid.
life. I mean,
A
everybody's
child,
told
yeah.
her everything is perfect about her and everything she does is brilliant. And I don't think she's a very bright girl on top of being mentally ill.
Yeah.
And she's been
Yeah.
used and abused since day one from like everybody, probably from her parents down the line. I mean,
Yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying. I'm not trying to downgrade.
no. I mean,
What she's
in
going
most
through, I just-
cases, like, does she have money and shit? Yes.
Yeah.
And in fact, lucky girl, her kid's like 18 now, so she doesn't have to pay Federline child support anymore.
Hmm.
I think she's still
Read
paying
that the other
alimony.
day. I don't know if she
Fucking
does anymore.
TMZ keeps me up to date on. TMZ is good for a lot of stuff, like finding out when somebody dies. They're frequently the first person to report it. So that's why I follow them. But they
But
also
yeah.
report on stupid shit like this.
Well, that's what they are. They started out as tabloid shit. Yeah. Well, they always have been, I mean, but yeah. But yeah, they're quick to get like because they have zero fucks to give about any like family members finding out about anybody else dying.
Yeah,
They'll
they
just-
don't care.
I mean, sometimes I'm sure they hear it on the police scanner and they go right to the fucking press with that shit.
Yeah.
They probably have reporters whose job it is to stand outside of like the biggest LA hospitals.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they have. Well,
And
not
just
only that,
watch
actually, you
for-
know what they have? They don't have somebody standing outside. What they have is like 2 or 3 people on staff that they pay
Yeah,
whenever they
that's
get a
true.
tip, is what it is.
Mhm.
Yeah. And but then again, we already know, like with a situation like with somebody like Amber Heard, all they got to do is call up and say, "We're going to be here, here, and here," and you be there, and they're there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's unfortunately true.
Yeah. And somebody was telling me here in the background, Power Rangers is no longer at Lionsgate. I guess it's been reverted back to Hasbro, and Netflix as of right now. That's right. I remember hearing Netflix was doing something with it. I think
Mhm.
they were talking about Power Rangers earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's been a couple of years since they made that movie. So yeah, the rights reverted back.
Yeah, it's not quite as big as it used to be, I guess.
Well, it's still a viable franchise. They got to find their niche.
Yeah.
It was never as big as like Ninja Turtles or Pokemon, but I mean, it
No.
had its moment in the sun.
Yeah,
Sure.
it had a live action movie, and it still has on and off going comics and on and off going series. Yeah, I mean, so it definitely has its fans. That's for sure.
Yeah, 2017. That's more than 5 years. Then the other rights would have reverted, probably. Yeah.
Yep.
How many more of these companies need to keep being bought out by a big corporation and just to keep them afloat? Like, why can't anything just let it rest? Like that because all these scenes keep being bought up by all these pieces. It's like we're going out of our way to make sure nothing good comes up to even replace it.
Well, it used to be that you had these licenses and the studios would license everything. Now they just buy it up. They're just like the big corporations when they'd have competition open up, they just buy out the competition.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. And they become IP farms, right? I mean, they're just buying up all, and that's the same thing when like Six will do a lot of research on the Embracer Group deal. But like a lot of those things are just a lot of IPs that people are buying up and shifting, over to different things. And you're right. They're all getting all conglomerated up. The music industry is the same way. There's only like three major people that in the industry that run music. It's like BMG, Sony, and Warner. And Warner's been looking to sell their control on their side of things, from what I remember hearing, to try and get an influx of cash or something like that. And Disney, the only thing they had, like Warner controls their music catalog, I believe, but Disney's trying to sell the Queen catalog. Last I knew, because they own the rights to the Queen catalog, and they have for many years. Going back to the Mighty Ducks years, they bought, instead of just keep paying for the license, they just bought all of them. All the Queen music. That's why a bunch of those Hollywood and Touchstone movies had Queen music in them for a few years there.
So the 30th anniversary season of Power Rangers Cosmic Fury drops on Netflix in several hours. So
there you go.
There you go.
Wow. So there's some news for you, kids. Yeah. And I'm sure if you're a fan, you already knew that. But
yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's wrap this up. I didn't see Comics Division having a.
He's doing a show
yet.
tonight. I
didn't have it.
I'll get it for you right now.
Let's see if I can find it. It might not have been set up yet.
Well, I did. Oh, I got it. It's actually based on it says right now the Continental episode 1. So, all right, got in the private chat. I watched it. It was fine.
You got time.
I do. But
yeah, it was fine.
A nap sounds good too.
Yeah, it was.
I got beat up at the doctor today.
Uh-oh. You got
what happened?
Oh my god! Well, first they gave me an MRI. And I didn't know it was going to take that long. And then the second part is where they had to shoot me up with some dye. He fucking fucked up my first one he put in, and it's still not feeling right. Then he tried down on my hand, and he fucked that one up too. And he finally got it over on the other side. And then I had to go give him some blood for other labs. So it was like they're just sticking and prodding and poking me and making me fucking lay in weird positions and shit all day.
I hate it when people try to help me.
I know.
Damn them.
I know. It's just very uncomfortable parts of going to the doctor. These are the things I don't like. I hate needles. I hate having to stay still for a while. I'm very claustrophobic. So luckily my head wasn't in the MRI, but it's still one of those things where I was just getting very cramped. And
I had an MRI with my head in the thing. Holy
I have
shit.
before. It is not fun.
Not good.
I almost
tell your doctor you want to.
I had to have lorazepam to do it last time. Because I told him there's no way. Because I had to make him stop in the first time. And they're like, well, you can't keep going in there and having them stop. I'm like, well, I can't do it. I'm like, I'm freaking out. I'm having like a panic attack in there.
Yeah.
I'm like, you want me to stay still? I can't stay still. Like my body's shaking and shit. It's like I can't involuntarily. Like I can't fucking not, So they're like, okay, well, they got me to a bigger city with a quicker MRI and they gave me a couple of lorazepam. It was still hell, but like, yeah. This one wasn't so bad, but yeah. Anyway, that was my afternoon. But Six, anything you got going on?
Well, do you want to give a spoiler about Sunday night's show?
I think we're doing the Halloween list this week, aren't we?
Are we for sure doing it?
I think so, as long as you're going to be there, yeah.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, we got at least 1 or 2 more list shows we're going to do the regular way, and then we're going to flip it over the other stuff here real soon. Just got to get all that stuff in order yet with everybody and whatnot. But yeah, real soon here we're going to start on that. But next week, this Sunday, we're going to do the 85 horror films according to I think was it Rolling Stone or who did it?
Rolling Stone.
Was it Rolling Stone? I don't remember.
Rolling
I don't know.
Stoner.
You know, I Googled it because I don't have the link for that list, and I Googled it, and
It's
there's
in
so
the-
many links
I'll
came up with
reshare
like
it.
top 80 and top 85, and I'm like,
I'll
that's such a
reshare
weird
it,
number.
hang
Why
on.
would they?
It's in there.
Yeah.
But anyway,
yeah,
what do you got
that's-
going on? Oh, go
Other
ahead.
than that, oh sorry, go ahead.
No, go finish.
Other than that, I'll be backstage tomorrow because my brain isn't even scalloped potatoes. It's just straight up mashed potatoes from a box.
Oh wow.
So I'll be
Does
backstage
they at
tomorrow.
least have butter and salt?
No butter.
Oh, darn.
Some Italian herbs.
Okay, that's not a bad
Seasoning.
replacement. I won't argue with that.
But yeah. Okay.
All right,
sorry.
I sent you the one that we're going to do Sunday, so there you go.
Okay.
It's in Facebook. All right, collaborating times. You got a show coming up here in a little bit, don't you?
Yes, and in a little over an hour, 9 Central. It's the Clubhouse, but it's the first of 2 weeks where it's unfortunately Raquel will not be there for the next couple of weeks. She's taking care of some things, but she'll be back in a few weeks. And everyone said just me and Mark. I know it's not going to be the same. Everyone's going to be disappointed, but we're going to try to make it happen. And who knows? We'll have a lot of fun anyway. And that's the same with Saturday Night Star Trek. Same deal. The next 2 weeks. We'll try to make it work though. We'll miss her. We'll love her, but we'll keep doing. We'll keep going. So.
All right. And yeah, it wasn't Rolling Stone. It's not by them. It's somebody else. Anyway, Nick Weiser, what you got going on? You're going to be on Thursday Night Throwdown?
Yeah, I'll be on Thursday Night Throwdown. That'll be cool. I'll have a video out in the morning as well on Tim Seeley, Comic Pro, who had a very ignorant rant. That'll be fun to prove receipts on that. And then Comic Shop Talk tomorrow night. It's going to be an open show. We'll be having a few comic people from the Indiegogo scene to promote their comic as well. So it'll be open discussion / promoting some comics. And of course, next week be having the Fugitive for Toxic Tuesday. So lots coming up in the next week on my channel. But yeah, good hangout. Thanks for having me and chat. I hope to see some of you on TNT. And for the ones who go to the clubhouse, go to the clubhouse. And for the rest of you, I hope you all have a fantastic night.
Awesome sauce. And of course, check out Script Doctor's Patreon and Scribelight, who's probably live right about now anyway. So check all those guys out. And thank you so much for listening. Take care of yourselves and each other. Bye.